Now I will discuss about the Nyquist plot for type 1 system. So what is the difference between the type 1 system and type 2 system and type 3 system? Previous day we have discussed about the type 0 system, that was 1 by 1 plus 2s, and corresponding to that we have drawn the Nyquist plot. So this is your real axis, this is imaginary axis, and Nyquist plot was finally like this. Right, now here we are considering one type 1 system. So let the type 1 transfer function is like s into 1 plus 2s. So as this is a free s, that means at s is equal to 0, this is a type 1 system. And consider one type 2 system. Simultaneously we are taking the transfer function like 1 by s square into 1 plus 2s. Now this becomes the type 2 system. And if you just increasing the order of the free s in the denominator, you can get type 3 system also. So the similarity between these two is that only this part is common, and this is type 0 system, this is type 2 system. So let us start with the Nyquist diagram. Now how the Nyquist diagram for the type 1 system will look like? Previous day we have drawn one Nyquist contour. How was the Nyquist contour for type 0 system? This is for type 0 system. I am repeating this. That means there was a value minus j infinity. Say we have taken it as the b, and it moves up to o, that is 0, and then goes up to point a, where that is plus of j infinity. That means whenever we are moving from minus infinity to infinity, that means the frequency is varied from minus infinity to plus infinity, you move along this j omega axis, and this part is taken to cover all the right hand side s plane roots. Now when you move from b to a, you are moving from b to a, means you are varying the frequency omega is equal to minus infinity to plus infinity. What happens? See this point, that is origin. That means in this position the value of s is equal to 0. Now if you put the value of s is equal to 0 in the transfer function of type 1, what happens? Say GSHS at s is equal to 0, because when you will move from this position to this position, definitely there is a point comes which is o, that is origin, and the value of s is equal to 0 here. And if you put the value of s is equal to 0 in the type 1 transfer function, what happens? You will get 1 by 0 into 1 plus 2 into 0, that means 1 by 0 into 1. So 1 by 0, that is infinity. What happens? That means at the origin, this transfer function is not analytic. This is known as the analytic function. Okay, this is non-analytic actually. Analytic means for every value of s, if you vary, then this function will be actually finite. So if there is any infinite value for any value of s, that means this becomes non-analytic. So this part will not be valid for type 1 system, and similarly type 2 system also, because you see in the case of type 2 system, I have taken one example where if you put the value of s is equal to 0, this function is this function becomes infinite. That means that is also not analytic at s is equal to 0, and so on from type 1, type 2, type 3. Every case you see there is a s in the denominator. That means once you put the value of s is equal to 0, then the function become non-analytic. So you have to avoid this point anyhow, right? So in that case the Nyquist contour for type 1, type 2, type 3 systems will be same, but this will not be the Nyquist contour for type 1 system, right? For type 1 and type 2, type 3 system, the Nyquist contour will be something different. For type 1, type 2 and so on systems, we will take the Nyquist contour like this. What we have to bypass? We have to bypass the point, that is the origin, at s is equal to 0. At this point this function become non-analytic. So this point is known as the singular point. So we have to avoid this part. How to avoid this part? We will redraw the circuit like this. This is your again B point where the value of Js is equal to minus J infinity, and you go moving on this direction up to, say for example, at a point A where the value of S is equal to J infinity, and in this case also you will have to consider the complete right hand side of the S plane. So this is one semicircular path. Now how to bypass this point? So we are moving up to this point, say this is your D, right? You moved up to this point, then what you have to do, you have to bypass this 0. So that is why we have taken another semicircular path through which the signal can move from this D point to E point, and again from E to A the path follows on the imaginary axis, and from A to B this is the semicircular path again covering all the right hand side of this plane. Now if you just take the semicircular indent like this, that means D to say A dash, D to A dash to E, you see what happens. And if this is a semicircular indent also, this is one semicircular path, and if this semicircular path is considered, then the equation for the semicircular path is again we can take at epsilon e to the power j theta, and this epsilon is very small quantity and that tends to 0. So we may write S is equal to limit epsilon tends to 0 epsilon e to the power j theta. That is a phasor. Basically this is also one phasor having radius epsilon, right? So if epsilon is very much close to 0, so this point is may be taken as this path, right? As this is the origin, that means the value of S is equal to 0 here, and we are considering one semicircular path surrounding it like this, such that directly we can bypass this point S is equal to 0, and what happens, this is your epsilon. So if epsilon tends to 0, that means this path may be at the limiting case is equal to value of this path is equal to 0. So we can take the expression for this semicircular path as limit epsilon tends to 0 epsilon e to the power j theta. Now what about this phase theta? Here you see this is also semicircular path. So if this is your semicircular path and say this is your semicircular path, this is epsilon and this is taken as theta. Now the direction of the theta, you see we are moving from this direction B to D. Now D to A dash, D to A dash to E. You follow the path D to A dash to E. The direction of the semicircular path is in anti-clockwise direction, right? So anti-clockwise direction means initial phase is here. That means if this is your epsilon and phasor starts from here, that means in this position angle is minus 90 degree. You move on along this semicircular path, and everywhere the value of the radius is epsilon and the angle is increasing. That means angle is you are moving in the anti-clockwise direction. That means the angle is becoming positive. Here you get the angle 0, and this where you reach the point E. Point is E. So where is the point where the angle is 90 degree? That means actually when you put the expression for this semicircular path, S is equal to limit epsilon tends to 0 epsilon e to the power j theta, that theta varies from minus 90 degree to 0 degree to plus 90 degree. The same type of operation as we have done in case of type 0 system. Now what happens? And if this is the Nyquist contour, so corresponding to that, what will be the Nyquist plot? Say our transfer function we are considering type 1, say for example, and that is GSHS equal to 1 by S into 1 plus 2S, right? So if this is your type 1 transfer function, then we are going to plot the Nyquist contour corresponding, Nyquist plot corresponding to the Nyquist contour of type 1 system. How to get it? We will in a similar fashion move from B to D. First B to D, see B to D. B to D means what? omega is vary from minus infinity to 0, right? Then d to e via a dash. So this is the expression s is equal to limit epsilon tends to 0 and epsilon e to the power j theta, right? Next, what you have to do, we have to go from complete chart. You see here for the type 1 system, I repeat this part, GSHS is equal to given as 1 by s into 1 plus 2s. Now if you want to follow this path from B to D, D to E, E to A and A to B, the complete Nyquist contour, what happens from B to D, you see, if you move from B to D along the j omega axis, that means the frequency of omega varies from minus infinity to 0 in this part, right? Now you have to bypass this point s is equal to 0, so you are bypassing by using this semicircular small indent where the radius is epsilon. So you follow this path D to E, and according to the rule or the expression we have derived, we can get the value of s is equal to limit epsilon tends to 0 epsilon e to the power j theta. This is the expression, right? Next, from E to A, what happens E to A? E to A means omega is varied from 0 to positive infinity, and for this part, this larger semicircular indent which is having the radius r and r tends to infinite, that is obtained by using this formula s is equal to limit r tends to infinity r to the power j phi. Now we have to draw the Nyquist contour. What will be the Nyquist contour and how it look like? This is your real axis, this is imaginary axis. Now this is the S plane contour, so we are going to have GS S plane, HS plane contour. So from minus infinity to 0, so that means B to D, minus infinity to 0, minus infinity to 0, that means first of all for 0 to infinity, omega is equal to 0 to infinity, that means we are having the polar plot. How the polar plot of the system GS HS equal to 1 by s into 1 plus 2s looks like, that we know the this is your polar plot. So this is your omega 0 and this point is omega is equal to infinity. Now for this part E to A, that means the omega is equal to minus infinity, sorry, this part we have already discussed, 0 to infinite. Now this part B to D, B to D means minus infinity to 0, the frequency variation is from minus infinity to 0, that means this will be similar to that of the mirror image of the GSHS polar plot. So if this is the polar plot for omega is equal to 0 to infinite, then this will be symmetrical about the x-axis, so and direction is in the same direction, that means omega is equal to 0 to infinity, again this will be omega is equal to minus infinity, so this will be omega is equal to 0. Actually if you map between these two element wise, that means this is your B point. So what is your B point? This is your B point, right? Then D point, D point means this is your D point, right? Now you come to this point that E is means omega is equal to 0 to omega is equal to infinite. So this is your you see this is your sorry, actually this is your E point. E means 0, so 0 to infinite in from E to A, as we already discussed. So E means this point is your E point and A point is at omega is equal to infinity, that means this will be actually your A point. And if this is your A point, now this is similar to that of the minus infinity. We clarify this part again from the beginning. Say this is your actual polar plot, right? Actual polar plot means omega varies from 0 to infinite. So 0 to infinite part is from E to A of this Nyquist contour. So E to A path is covered. Now when you move from when you vary this frequency from omega is equal to minus infinity to omega is equal to 0, definitely this will be the mirror image of the polar plot actually where we have already obtained. So polar plot of this will be like this, that is the mirror image of it. You get this point. See this part is from omega is equal to 0 to omega is equal to minus infinity, that means minus infinity to 0. So minus infinity to 0 part is from B to D. So this part again should be your B. So how it should be, that means this point A, this point is A here. So A and B point is at the same point we see here, right? And this point is your D. So B to D, B to D means minus j minus infinity to 0. Now what about this part? What about this part? This part means this semicircular path. So when we will have to just point D point and E point. How this D point and E point will be connected? Here, see, this point is D and this point is E. These can be obtained by using the semicircular path equation. What is the semicircular path equation? That is this semicircular path. You put S is equal to limit epsilon tends to 0 epsilon into the what? J theta. Now put this value here. What you will get? GS HS will be equal to 1 by limit epsilon tends to 0 epsilon into the what? J theta 1 plus limit epsilon tends to 0 to epsilon into the what? J theta, right? So when you put the limit epsilon tends to 0, always this part will be equal to 0. So what remains is 1 by limit epsilon tends to 0 epsilon into the what? J theta. So this is your function GS into HS. Now when this GS HS is equal to 1 by limit epsilon tends to 0 epsilon into the J theta, so definitely this will be equal to, you can write it, GS HS will be equal to 1 by 0. That means its magnitude is infinite, right? Now in this case the phase part plays very important role. What is that? See, the magnitude of GS HS, that means this part, will be infinite when you vary from D to A. If you move from D to A, so what happens? D to A, this is your D point and this is your E point. So magnitude is infinite. So magnitude is infinite means you can extend this value from D to A in infinite. That means entire right hand side you can enclose, because all this this polar plot or Nyquist plot, whatever you will get, this will be closed contour. So now the concept of phase comes here. What is the phase corresponding to this? If I write this part here, so you get GSHS is equal to, say, 1 by limit epsilon tends to 0 epsilon into the what? J theta. Now what about this theta? Already we have discussed, for this semicircular path the theta varies from minus 90 degree to 0 to plus 90 degree, right? And what is the phase of this GSHS? Phase is only in the denominator the phase is theta and the numerator phase is 0. So phase of this part is phase of, that means you can write angle of GSHS equal to minus of theta, right? So phase in the numerator is 0 and phase is denominator is this theta. So numerator phase minus denominator phase will give you the total phase, that is minus of theta. So angle of GSHS, we get the magnitude of GSHS is equal to infinity, and angle is, that means you can write is like epsilon infinity minus theta. So infinity minus theta means infinity is the magnitude and theta varies from, say, if the theta varies from minus 90 degree to 90 degree, so minus theta varies from 90 degree to 0 degree to minus 90 degree. Now see the phase. Initial was, the magnitude is infinity. Initial magnitude was 90 degree. So initial magnitude is 90 degree. That means here, right, or parallel to this line. This is 90 degree axis plus 90 degree axis. So you can take it here, this point as a 90 degree axis, because this can be taken as parallel to this imaginary axis. Now it moves to 0 degree and finally reaches to minus 90 degree. So minus 90 degree is here, right? So definitely this will move to 0 degree axis. This is your 0 and comes back to minus 90 degree, right? So what happens? You see, when you bypass this point S is equal to 0 with this small semicircular indent, actually in every case you will find that is the encirclement of this complete right hand side path, and this D and E, these 2 points are now connected and you see B and A B and A, no, sorry, D and E, these two are connected by this path. So this part is explained. Now what about the this section, that means A to B? So this is one semicircular path also having the radius infinity, right? And that semicircular path, concept of semicircular path and how it maps with the GSHS, that has been already discussed. Now I will repeat this part again for this section. And from A to B along this semicircular path, so A is equal to limit r tends to infinity r e to the power j phi, where phi varies in clockwise direction, that means 90 degree to 0 degree to minus 90 degree. Now put the value of s in your transfer function, that means open your transfer function GSHS 1 by s into 1 plus 2s. If you put this value, you get limit r tends to infinity r e to the power j phi into 1 plus 2r e to the power j phi limit r tends to infinity. So this becomes, you see, the total expression, you can just multiply it. So limit r tends to infinity r e to the power j phi plus of, this is actually limit r tends to infinity 2r square e to the power 2j phi, right? So in the denominator, what is the maximum value of e to the power j? Maximum value of e to the power j phi, that means e to the power 2 phi. In the denominator, you see, this is e to the power j phi and it is e to the power j into 2 phi. That means the phase in the denominator, phase in that denominator is equal to 2 phi, right? If there are another terms 3 5 4 5 6 5 like that, the phase will be 6 5 3 4 5 6 5, whatever the different values will be there, that will be the phi. So phase will be 2 phi in this case, and numerator total phase is 0. So total phase of the system, that means angle of GSHS after putting this value will be equal to actually minus of 2 phi, right? This is about the phase. Now if you put the value of r is equal to infinity, denominator, this will be infinity. So this is infinity, this is infinity, the limiting case. So ultimately this is 0. So what will get? GSHS, magnitude of GSHS, you get the magnitude of GSHS is equal to 0. That means whether it is a type 0 system, type 1 system, type 2 system, everywhere you have to just consider this contour, and at everywhere you have to put the expression of this contour, s is equal to limit r tends to infinity r e to the power j phi in your transfer function. And finally in all the system, type 1, type 0, type 2, type 3, any order, you will get the magnitude 0. And the phase is, in this case, you can write it as phase minus 2 phi. That means this will vary as the phi varies from 90 degree to 0 to minus 90 degree. This will be varies from minus 180 degree to 0 to plus 180 degree. So once the magnitude is 0, so the phase is actually of no matter. So what will get along the path B to A, when this Nyquist contour closes or encloses the complete right hand side of the S-plane, these maps in your Nyquist plot is equal to 0. So this is our assumption that B should be at A, and now B and A both are in 0, right? So you get the total Nyquist plot. So once you get the Nyquist plot corresponding to the Nyquist contour of this system, and this is fixed, that means this diagram is fixed for type 1, type 2, type 3, whatever, because different order. But if the system is type 1 or type 2 or type 3, the Nyquist contour will be like this. The next step is to get the stability once you get the Nyquist plot. So Nyquist plot is obtained. Next part we will discuss the stability of this term. The type 1 system we have considered. GSHS is equal to transfer function s into 1 plus 2s. This is your real axis, this is imaginary axis, this is GSHS plane. Now this is your Nyquist plot. So what you see, this is your origin. Now this is minus 1 plus j0. In the previous lecture we have discuss the stability using the Nyquist criteria. That means the point minus 1 plus j0 is very much important, and here you see there is no encirclement of this point minus 1 plus j0. Can you find it? No, because this part goes to there and finally there. So minus 1 plus 0 is just outside this closed contour. So n, that means encirclement. So there is no encirclement of this point minus 1 plus j0 with the closed contour or closed path. So n is equal to 0. That means clockwise, anti-clockwise, whatever. If the value of n is equal to 0, does not mean matter whether this is plus sign or minus sign, right? So n is equal to 0. Next is to find out the p. What is p? P is the number of pole at right hand side. So from the given transfer function, you see one pole is at s equal to 0, one pole is at s is equal to minus half. So there is no pole at the right side of the s plane. Right side of the s plane means in this direction. So there is no pole here. So Nyquist stability criteria is that p minus z should be equal to n. Now if z is equal to p minus n and z is equal to p minus n. Now putting this value of this 0 and 0, you see this is 0 minus 0 means 0. So z is equal to 0. So z is equal to 0 and z is equal to 0 means the system is stable. System is stable, right? So that is how actually the stability can be determined. Now till now what I have discussed, that first of all you have to draw the Nyquist contour corresponding to the type first. So according to the type, if this is a type 0 system, then there is a single contour like this. So s is equal to limit r tends to infinity r e to the power j phi, and this is for type 0. If this is type 1, for type 1 system there is a bypassing of this 0. So this is the Nyquist contour for type 1 system, and here you will have to take the two values of s. One is s is equal to epsilon limit epsilon tends to 0 epsilon into the power j theta, and similarly you have to take the s is equal to limit epsilon tends to r tends to infinity r into the power j theta j phi epsilon into the power j theta. So these are the two values of s we have to put in the transfer function, and corresponding expression, that means result, is known to us. When you put s is equal to limit epsilon tends to 0 epsilon into the power j theta, so magnitude will be all time this magnitude will be infinite, and when you put s is equal to limit r tends to infinity r e to the power j phi in the transfer function, always you will get the magnitude 0. That means in simple way